I am Adrian Don Mora, and I am honored to serve as your host for the 2024 commemoration of the CCJ Academy for Law's Eminent Caribbean Jurist Series. Conceived by the Honorable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, Chairman of the CCJ Academy for Law, the Eminent Caribbean Jurists Awards recognizes and celebrates the outstanding contributions by lawyers to Caribbean development. This year, the Academy proudly recognizes and pays tribute to 48 legal luminaries of Caribbean legal practice. Their invaluable contributions are immortalized in a compelling book of essays, Legendary Caribbean Legal Practitioners, that succinctly chronicles their remarkable legacies. I now have the honor of introducing the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice and patron of the CCJ Academy, to address us on this auspicious occasion.
The Right Honorable Barrow once said, "We are peoples with an identity and a culture and a history. We are viable, functioning societies with the intellectual and institutional resources to understand and grapple with our problems collectively. We have the resource potential necessary for our continued development," unquote. When the late Barbadian Prime Minister said this, he could well have been referencing our venerable awardees. I salute these legendary Caribbean legal practitioners, and I commend the CCJ Academy for Law under the astute leadership of Justice Winston Anderson for memorializing their contribution to the development of Caribbean jurisprudence and Caribbean society.
This is the third installment of the Eminent Caribbean Jurist Series. The first honored international lawyers, and the second, pioneering women in the law. On this occasion, we celebrate the life and achievements of legendary Caribbean legal practitioners. We focus especially on those whose exploits in the courtroom have passed beyond exuberance, flamboyance, and even excellence, and into the pages of history. I can truly report that the concept of recognizing and honoring the contribution of outstanding Caribbean jurists has begun to take root in our region. The publication of the biographical profiles of our awardees is increasingly anticipated by growing sections of the legal community and beyond. We intend to keep faith with the process adopted thus far of identifying a broad-based regional advisory body, eliciting nominations, and then selecting the awardees through an objective, transparent, and democratic process.
It was always going to be a monumental task to whittle down the list of deserving awardees to a manageable number. Ultimately, however, no one can quarrel with the tremendous merit of those who comprise the final list. It is a most impressive group of lawyers comprising a reasonable regional spread. I extend heartiest congratulations to each of the 2024 awardees and also to the essayists who had the unenviable responsibility of trying to capture in a few pages the breadth and depth of the extraordinary exploits of their subjects.
These essays are lively and varied, sure to fascinate and entertain. Collectively, they represent the best of the Caribbean legal community during a formative period.
I have personally been blessed to have witnessed more than 1/3 of our awardees in full flight. You are not a serious Vincentian lawyer if you heard, for instance, that Tajmul Hussain or Lionel Luku, Jack Dare or Carl Hudson Phillips was in town to argue a massive case, and you didn't ensure that you had a front row seat at the bar table. I've also had the great privilege to have appeared as a junior alongside a good few on the list. And a sizable number of our honored legends here have also argued cases before me, making my work as a judge in every instance in which they appeared so much easier. In each case, it was an exceptional learning experience that helped to shape my approach to litigation and to the practice of law. I salute these legendary Caribbean legal practitioners, and again I congratulate the Academy for celebrating them.
We underscore the obvious. Those chosen are representative of a far larger number of practitioners who are worthy of our respect and admiration. Taken all together, these are the jurists on whose shoulders we stand in our continued march towards a more just Caribbean society.
Embarking on this endeavor to honor these legal giants necessitated the collaboration of individuals across the Caribbean region. Distinguished figures from diverse backgrounds generously contributed their time, talent, and expertise to serve on the advisory and selection committee for this eminent Caribbean jurist project, ensuring its success. The esteemed legal practitioners selected for this ultimate recognition represent 9 diverse jurisdictions across the Caribbean region. We begin with the Bahamas, which became the 13th member state of the Caribbean community in 1983.
The legal system in the Bahamas is rooted in English common law. This framework declares certain fundamental principles that must be observed and enforced, the rights enshrined in the Constitution. Legal education in the Bahamas was placed on a firm footing with the establishment of the Eugene Depuche Law School in 1998, named for our only Bahamian honoree, the prominent Bahamian lawyer and a politician, the Honorable Eugene Aubrey Pyfrom Depuche, QC. The founding of this law school, one of the 3 law schools of the Council of Legal Education, marked a significant milestone, providing comprehensive legal training and fostering the development of local legal professionals. It stands as a fitting tribute to our honoree, an outstanding lawyer known for his sharp intellect, keen wit, and a professional ethos rooted in dedication and service to his country and family.
Barbados. From the Republic of Barbados, we proudly present 6 awardees, each brilliant and distinguished in their own right. The Right Excellent Sir Grantley Adams, Sir Richard Cheltenham, Sir Henry Ford, Sir David Simmons, Sir John Stanley Bruce Dare, the Right Honourable Sir Harold St. John. Our three surviving honorees, Sir Richard, Sir Henry, and Sir David, were suitably feted at a presentation ceremony at the Supreme Court on April 4, 2024.
The legal system of Barbados is based on English common law, with a strong tradition of judicial independence and a comprehensive framework of statutes. The judiciary includes the Supreme Court, which encompasses the High Court and the Court of Appeal. Barbados recognizes the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final appellate court. Regional legal education began with the establishment of the Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies, Cave Campus, Barbados in 1970. This institution has since become a cornerstone for legal training in the region, producing many of the Caribbean's distinguished and accomplished lawyers. One of our honorees, Sir Grantley Adams QC, a pivotal figure in the political history of Barbados and indeed the region, significantly contributed to the development of law in the country through his leadership and advocacy for legal and social reforms.
Belize. Our four esteemed Belizean honorees are Mr. Derek Basil Courtney, Sir Woolrich Harrison Courtney, Mr. Simeon Benedict Sampson, Mr. Horace Walwyn Young. We are pleased to note that the co-editor of Legendary Caribbean Legal Practitioners is also a Belizean, the Honorable Mr. Justice Dennis Barrow.
Belize is the only regional country located in Central America. The country's legal system is based on English common law. In 2010, Belize recognized the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final appellate court, becoming the third jurisdiction to do so. In 2022, Belize made history by suing Trinidad and Tobago for breaching trade obligations under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas in the state of Belize versus the state of Trinidad and Tobago. This landmark case was the first where a CARICOM member state invoked the original jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice to pursue a claim against another member state.
Guyana. From Guyana, situated on the South American continent and proudly hosting the headquarters of CARICOM, we are delighted to present 8 illustrious legal practitioners. The Honorable Joseph Oscar Fitzclarence Haynes, Mr. Rex Herbert McKay, Mr. Ashton Chase, Dr. Mohammed Shahabuddin, Sir Lionel Alfred Lucku, Sir Fenton Ramsahoy, Mr. Clarence Albert Fitzgerald Hughes, Dr. Claude Denbo.
The legal system in Guyana is based on English common law, but has strong elements of Roman Dutch law. In 1973, Guyana became the first country in the Commonwealth Caribbean to abolish the right of appeal to the Privy Council, demonstrating its commitment to judicial independence. Further solidifying its legal autonomy, in 2005, Guyana was among the first countries to accept the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final appellate court. Renowned for its esteemed, learned, and eloquent jurists, Guyana has a storied tradition of legal excellence. The eminent Caribbean Jurist Series has honored numerous distinguished legal luminaries from the country, recognizing their significant contributions to the region's legal landscape. One of these honorees, Dr. Shahabuddin, draped the region in juristic glory by becoming the first jurist from the Caribbean to sit on the International Court of Justice, the world's premier judicial body. And heading the roll of honor is Guyana's premier legal expert, the incomparable Geoff Haynes, the doyen of legal practitioners.
Haiti. From Haiti, we pay tribute to Monsieur le Dr. Montferrier Dorval, an admirable activist and a profound and independent thinker. Tragically, this prominent lawyer and constitutional scholar was assassinated in August 2020 in the same neighborhood where Haitian President Moïse resided. He was killed on the same day he gave a radio interview bravely expressing his views on the constitutional and leadership crises confronting Haiti.
Haiti's legal system is primarily based on the Napoleonic Code, influenced by French civil law. As the only country in the Caribbean to have achieved independence through a successful revolution, Haiti became a republic in 1804. It holds the distinction of being the most recent CARICOM member state and the first French-speaking nation to join the Caribbean community. Despite ongoing challenges, Haiti's legal framework is evolving, reflecting its unique historical and cultural context within the Caribbean region.
Jamaica. Our 10 esteemed honorees from Jamaica stand as a testament to the rich legacy of brilliant advocates that this country has produced. They are Dr. the Honorable Lloyd George Barnett, the Honorable Vivian Blake, the Honorable David Corr, the Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, the Honorable Mr. Justice Cecil Dennis Harrington Morrison, the Honorable Madam Justice Hilary Ann Phillips, the Honorable Frank Milton Granville Phipps, the Honorable Ian MacDonald Ramsey, Dr. Kenneth Rattray, the Honorable Jag Smith. The surviving Jamaican honorees, Mr. Phipps, Dr. Barnett, and Justice Phillips, were honored at a presentation ceremony presided over by the Honorable Mr. Justice Anderson at the Norman Manley Law School on May 21, 2024. Justice Morrison, who recently transitioned, was represented by Mrs. Janet Morrison.
Jamaica's legal system is rooted in English common law, with a hierarchical court structure comprising the parish courts, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. Jamaica has been the jurisdiction of seminal landmark cases, including Hines versus the DPP, 1975, and Pratt and Morgan versus the Attorney General of Jamaica. Cases that decided high constitutional doctrines and principles, and which were argued by distinguished legal practitioners, some of whom are among our honorees. The Council of Legal Education's law school in Kingston, Jamaica, bears the name of Norman Manley, one of our esteemed honorees, reflecting the country's commitment to legal education and excellence.
OECS. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court presides over the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, an intergovernmental organization comprising 10 member states in the Eastern Caribbean. The OECS fosters cooperation and integration among its members. Our 7 distinguished honorees from the OECS are from Antigua, Anguilla, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Collectively representing the diversity and legal excellence of the Eastern Caribbean region, they are Mr. Joseph Samuel Archibald, Mr. Carroll Walter John Bristol, Mr. Parnell Randolph Campbell, the Right Honorable Sir Vincent Floysack, Time Henry Kendall, Miss Joyce Althea Kentish Egan, Sir Lee Llewellyn Moore.
The legal system within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States is primarily based on English common law, reflecting the historical influence of British colonial rule. Notably, St. Lucia has a mixed legal system combining aspects of both civil and common law. The OECS member states maintain independent judicial systems with similar hierarchical structures, including magistrates' courts, high courts, and courts of appeal. Within the OECS, Dominica and St. Lucia have acceded to the appellate jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice, affirming their commitment to regional judicial integration and the development of a Caribbean jurisprudence. The OECS features a sub-regional bar association, facilitating collaboration and professional development among legal practitioners across member states. The OECS boasts 2 presidents of the Caribbean Court of Justice, former President Sir Dennis Byron and current President, the Honorable Justice Adrian Saunders. Notable landmark cases from within the OECS include Trimmingham v. R. 2009, and Hughes v. R. and Spence v. R., both of which have significantly influenced the issue of the death penalty within the Caribbean region.
Suriname. Suriname joined CARICOM in 1995, becoming the first non-English speaking and non-common law member. Our 3 honorees from Suriname are each remarkable in their own right, including Mr. Freddie Cruisland, widely regarded as the greatest Surinamese attorney of all time. His fellow honorees are Mr. Bernard Anton Harfide, Mr. Stanley Marika.
Suriname's legal system is rooted in the Dutch civil law tradition, reflecting its colonial history with the Netherlands. The judiciary comprises several tiers, including the cantonal courts, which handle minor civil and criminal matters, the Court of Justice, serving as the appellate court for significant cases, and the High Court of Justice, the highest judicial authority. The legal framework emphasizes codified laws, with the Constitution of Suriname enshrining fundamental rights and freedoms. Suriname gained independence in 1975 and, since joining CARICOM in 1995, has integrated regional legal principles while maintaining its unique legal heritage. In a remarkable recent development, Suriname has initiated discussions within CARICOM on joining the appellate jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Trinidad and Tobago. The final group of honorees originates from Trinidad and Tobago, a nation distinguished as the seat of the Caribbean Court of Justice and home to the region's law school, named for one of our honorees, Sir Hugh Wooding. Trinidad and Tobago is also proud to claim the first president of the CCJ, Mr. Justice Michael de Labastide, who was also Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago, and before that, a brilliant and forceful advocate. The honorees are Mr. Alan Joseph Alexander, Mr. Desmond Eric Quinton Allam, His Excellency Sir Ellis Clark, the Honorable Mr. Justice Michael Anthony de Labastide, Mr. Tajmul Hossain, Mr. Carl Hudson Phillips, Mr. Frank Solomon, the Right Honorable Sir Hugh Wooding.
The legal system in Trinidad and Tobago is based on English common law, with a judiciary comprising magistrates' courts, the High Court, and the Court of Appeal, with the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council serving as the final Court of Appeal. A landmark case that significantly contributed to the development of law in the Caribbean is Collymore versus Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, 1967, where the Privy Council addressed issues related to the freedom of association and the trade union rights, setting important precedents for labor law and constitutional rights in the region. Lawyers from Trinidad and Tobago are very active in promoting the interests of their clients in the original jurisdiction of the CCJ. Their dedication, intellect, and unwavering commitment to legal excellence have not only advanced the profession, but have also inspired future generations of legal minds. As we honor their legacy, we recognize the profound impact they have had on Caribbean society and the enduring principles of justice they championed.
Whatever semblance of society we have achieved is largely due to the unwavering dedication of legal practitioners who have steadfastly advanced their clients' interests, both against other private litigants and against the state. The greatest of these practitioners are legends, whom we are proud to celebrate.